Hey, you remember when he said he wanted to go to a NASCAR race? Yeah, what about it? Well, I know nothing about NASCAR. That's not helpful. But I did buy this beginner's guide off of a homeless guy the other day. You know, I really wish you'd talk to me before he made financial decisions. Come on, let's watch. So you want to go to a NASCAR race? Well, you better listen up because I'm not going to be giving any refunds. Does this guy look familiar to you? Stop breaking the fourth wall! Now I've been to a lot of races, so I like to think that I know what I'm doing when I'm going there. With race attendance on the rise recently, I feel this is the perfect chance to give some advice to people who may be going for the first time. Now obviously the first step is buying your ticket, but where do you want to sit? With stick and ball sports, the closer you are is usually what you want, but with racing, it's the opposite. The higher you get, you're able to see more of the track and in turn get what I consider a better experience. But where specifically at the track do you want to sit? Well, it depends on what track you're going to. If it's a small track like Bristol or Martinsville, you'll probably have a good view of the action no matter what turn or straightaway you're at. Whereas tracks like Daytona or Michigan, unless you're in the middle, you'll get a good view of one half of the track while sacrificing a little bit of the other half. Another thing to consider is that the closer you are to the finish line, the more expensive it'll be. And we're talking about a racetrack here, so you may want to consider how close you want to be in case of flying debris. Not that it's a common thing, but it happened. Next, let's talk about what you want to bring to the track. First, for the love of God, check the track policy on what's not allowed because you don't want to be that guy. This cooler isn't soft-sided. Kill him! Some things I recommend include seat cushions, sunglasses, sunscreen, which if you're a pasty white boy like me, very important. A cool towel is nice during the summer, a cooler or a cooler backpack unless you're going to Nashville, which in that case I'm sorry, and then a clear backpack or a drawstring bag to carry some of this stuff with. There's one more thing that's probably the most important thing to bring. Ear protection. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but NASCAR races are really fucking loud! Some earplugs or some earmuffs are essential at the track. You know, unless you want to deal with this all the time. Yeah, I didn't think so. Now, this leads into another piece of gear that isn't necessary but definitely enhances the race day experience, a radio scanner. This allows you to listen to driver radio, track PA, and the radio broadcast. This is helpful to get updated on stuff you may be missing out on that you take for granted with a TV broadcast. It's also fun to listen to stuff like this.
Oh man, cool down. Let's get some points here, damn it.
A cheap way of doing this is getting a pair of Bluetooth earmuffs like these 3M work tunes for $48 and a subscription to the premium version of the Nascar app for $5 a month, or $30 for the whole year if you bought it in February like I did. There are some problems with this though. First, the app is delayed by like 10 to 15 seconds, which isn't great. Second, every race I've gone to, the cell towers have been overloaded, so it's hard to get any reception. You could connect to the track Wi-Fi. Oh, I can't even finish that. The track Wi-Fi sucks. I recommend the RE3000 by Racing Electronic because it comes preloaded with all the correct frequencies you need to hear the drivers in broadcast. Just type in the car number and you're good to go. And if you ever need to update the frequencies, you just stand near one of the Racing Electronic haulers, hit a few buttons, and it's all updated. All for the low price of But there is an alternative. Racing Electronic does allow you to rent a scanner for the day for $60 if you order within 2 weeks of the race and cheaper at $48 if you order earlier. This rental also includes a pair of behind-the-head headphones called the Platinums, and these suck. I mean, they block sound and they sound alright. I mean, I wouldn't listen to music with them, but you can hear the scanner okay. It's how they feel. These are not comfortable. I hate this behind the headband because it has too much tension in it, which leads these things to really squeeze your head, which for a 3-hour-long race, that's gonna get old really quick. So for $60 or $46 with Amazon Prime, you could pick up a pair of COS QZ99s. These have a traditional over-the-head support to them, which makes these way more comfortable. I mean, the foam on the headband isn't amazing, but compared to the Platinums, these are like fluffy clouds. And these sound way better as well. I also learned that Racing Electronic used to sell their very own flavor of these QZ99s, so But what if you want something a little bit more? What if you want something a little bit more premium? What if you're really fucking stupid with your money like I am? For $125, you can get a pair of Racing Electronic Clears. What they've done is taken a pair of $37 3M Peltor earmuffs, stuffed some cheap drivers in them, and called them the most comfortable stereo headphones a race fan can wear. Which, no. I mean, compared to the Platinums, yeah, they are, but that's a bar so low it's hanging out with Satan. These kind of squeeze your head a bit, and the ear cups aren't that big. certainly smaller than the Cosses. It also doesn't go as deep, and they for sure sound worse too. Still acceptable for scanners, but still. These also don't have a volume knob on them. I mean, the scanner, you can control the volume, but what if you're using a splitter and your friend wants a different volume? Even the shitty Platinums had volume adjustment. So I guess to end this bootleg DankPod segment, if you're gonna use a scanner, just go with the Cosses. And if you don't want to deal with a scanner, you could pick up a pair of these 3M Pro Grade earmuffs, which are pretty good. Okay, you got everything you need, so now it's time to go to the race. Once you get to the track, there's a lot more to do than just watch the race. There's all kinds of fan zones to check out, there's usually a booth with an iRacing rig to race on, and some tracks have museums right nearby to visit. Like New Hampshire has the New England Racing Museum, which was really cool. And there's a bunch of tailgating you can do. Maybe a little too much tailgating. While you're at the race, you may want to pick up some merch from the merch haulers. I've already discussed my hatred for these things in great detail, but my advice is get what you want as soon as you can because the lines during and after the race are brutal. Also, if you're going to more than just the cup race like Xfinity or trucks, get your shopping done then because it's way less crowded on those days. For food at the track, it depends on where you are. New Hampshire is, well, the best way to describe it is that it's stadium food. I'll leave it at that. Now, Charlotte, on the other hand, whew, Charlotte had a Bojangles booth. We don't have Bojangles in New England, let me just have this one. And for the love of God, stay hydrated. Unless you were fortunate enough to get some seats under the press boxes, you'll be cooking in the sun for hours. Now, how's the atmosphere at the race? Every time I've gone, everyone sitting around me has been friendly. I think that's one of the special things about NASCAR races is that everyone gets along for the most part. I mean, you might get the occasional comment from a Chase Elliott fan if you're wearing a Denny Hamlin hat, but at least that's the extent of it. Going to a NASCAR race is a blast. As convenient as it is to watch the race on TV, it just doesn't match the energy of actually being there in person. Everything about it, from the environment down to the smell, is just special. And if your budget is a little tight, an Xfinity or truck race is just as good for cheaper. Whatever you do, you'll enjoy your time at the race. Unless you're a cynical little bitch. I think that was helpful.